Is the Winchester Mystery House truly haunted? Was this sprawling maze of a mansion built to outsmart the dark spirits that plagued Sarah Winchester? Today, we're diving into a chapter of history that many don't know, a truth that challenges the popular lore and even the Hollywood adaptation in the 2018 film. The legend, as it's often told, speaks of Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Her life was marked by tragedy, losing family members one after another. But the turning point came in 1881 after the death of her husband. It's said that in her grief, Sarah sought out a psychic medium who delivered an eerie message. She was haunted by the spirits of those killed by her husband's rifles. The medium's chilling advice? Build a grand, ever-changing house, one so confusing that the spirits would never find her. But is this story just a myth, or is there something more haunting beneath the surface? Stay with us as we explore the secrets of the Winchester Mystery House, a labyrinth of corridors, staircases that lead to nowhere, and perhaps a few restless souls. Sarah Winchester's life. Sarah Lockwood Pardee was born in 1839 in New Haven, Connecticut, to Leonard Pardee and Sarah Burns. She grew up in a respectable middle-class family. Sarah received an education that was impressive for the status of women at the time. She mastered French, Spanish, and Italian, and developed a remarkable talent for music. Sarah was 22 years old when, in 1862, she married William Wirt Winchester. Her husband was the only son of Oliver Winchester, the founder of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Through the marriage, Sarah joined one of New England's wealthiest families. William was an important cog in the family business, serving as the treasurer of what had by now grown rapidly into a very successful company, whose repeating rifle was earning massive profits during the American Civil War. Tragedy was not to be long in coming. In 1886, Annie Pardee Winchester, the only child of Sarah and William, died after just 40 days of marasmus, a severe form of malnutrition. That was the deepest ding in the heart for Sarah, and she never had another child. 15 years later, in March of 1881, William was taken by tuberculosis at 43 years of age. Now 41, Sarah was a widow who had lost a daughter and husband within less than 2 decades. These massive losses left Sarah heir to a vast fortune. She inherited nearly 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company and began reaping an income of $1,000 a day, approximately $30,000 by today's standards. This new wealth would soon become the catalyst for one of the most strange and extended construction projects in American history. Construction of the Winchester Mystery House. The story of the Winchester Mystery House begins in 1884 with Sarah Winchester buying an unfinished 8-room farmhouse in Santa Clara Valley, California. Thus began an unprecedented period of 38 years of continuous construction, a project which would cease only with Sarah's death in 1922. From that year onward, legend states the sound of hammers and saws never stopped at the Winchester property. Construction went on 24/7, although some historians debate just how absolute that round-the-clock work was. The house constantly grew and changed, with new rooms and features sprouting here and there in what seems to be almost arbitrary interest. In 1906, the San Francisco earthquake caused major damage to the structure, and thus it underwent major rebuilding, further adding to the character of the house. By the time construction finally completed in 1922, the once modest farmhouse had grown into an architectural wonder, or monstrosity, depending on who you ask. The completed structure stood 7 stories high and covered 24,000 square feet. It included 160 rooms, which included 40 bedrooms, plus 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 stairways, 47 fireplaces, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. This infinite renovation involved Sarah Winchester, who, though never trained as an architect, was nevertheless extremely involved. Oftentimes, she would draw room ideas on napkins or notepads and present them to the team of builders, who would make the creation tangible. There are also various reports that Sarah held seances nightly in the Blue Room to receive architectural instructions from spirits. Legends and supposed hauntings. Perhaps the most enduring tale has to do with the supposed curse of the Winchester fortune. This suggests that after visiting a Boston medium, Sarah Winchester was informed that her family was being retaliated against by the spirits of the people killed by Winchester rifles. This medium is said to have recommended that Sarah move west and build a house incessantly to placate these tormented spirits. This story is tied in with the other stories of Sarah's allegedly communicating with the dead. She was said to retire every evening to her special seance room, where she would determine where to place the hammer and nails the workmen would use the following day. Again, there is no hard evidence to prove such a claim, but to some degree it became part of the mystique of the house. There have been numerous ghost stories over the years which have been related to the Winchester house. Such strange happenings include unexplained footsteps, doors slamming on their own, even sightings of apparitions being quite common. One popular tale relates to a ghostly handyman who still is going about his work in the basement. Another one speaks of Sarah's spirit, clad in black, roaming around the corridors of her labyrinthine creation. Oddities in architecture. It is into this that the Winchester house is famous for its bizarre architectural features. Arguably the most well-known are the staircases that lead to nowhere. These stairs rise only to end abruptly at a ceiling, serving no apparent purpose. Equally puzzling are the doors which open to blank walls, and in some instances, to sheer drops from upper floors. The house had secret rooms and secret passages that added another dimension of mystery to it. Workers stumbled upon a room in one of the 2016 restorations that had been boarded up for decades, finding items that were believed to have belonged to Sarah Winchester herself. Spaces like that are unexpected in the house, which just fueled speculation about their purpose. The number 13 pops up with surprising regularity throughout the house. Many windows contain 13 panes, rooms are made of 13 panels, and yes, there are 13 bathrooms. But this repeated motif has fueled much speculation about what Sarah was superstitious about and what she believed. Proposed purposes for the unusual architecture. While the supernatural theories that explain the house's oddities are far more entertaining, there are more plausible theories. Some architectural historians believe that the near-constant remodeling and seemingly nonsensical additions were simply the product of Sarah not having formal architectural training. Her wealth allowed her to experiment freely, sometimes with less than ideal results. The 1906 earthquake did much damage to the house, and some of the odd features may be due to hurried or poor repairs. For example, stairs that go to nowhere may have once led to structures destroyed or never properly reconstructed. Some have suggested that the building ways of Sarah could be the product of her mind, a wife and mother overcome by losing her husband and child, trapped in the unendurable burden of managing an enormous fortune. Such retrospective diagnoses certainly must be treated with care, since they usually represent modern biases rather than historical realities. Evidence for paranormal claims. The Winchester house is anything but lacking in ghostly tales and paranormal activities. There have been numerous accounts from visitors and members of the staff about events that cannot be explained. These range from feelings of being watched or touched when no one is present, to hearing footsteps and whispers in empty rooms. Guests and visitors often report apparitions, one being a woman in black. They believe it is the ghost of Sarah Winchester wandering about the hallways. Other people have reported seeing a ghostly handyman continuing to work in the basement. While these accounts are compelling to many, they remain anecdotal and are difficult to verify. Paranormal theories have also been fueled by inexplicable technical malfunctions in tours and investigations. Cameras and other electronic equipment supposedly fail more often than normal within the house, something that is interpreted by many as spiritual interference. Popular culture has actually contributed a lot to keeping this place in the limelight for being one of those haunted places. The Winchester Mystery House has been in so many TV series, books, and movies, usually fictionalizing and dramatizing its history to make it sound even spookier than it actually is. And this media publicity no doubt adds to the house's standing as a paranormal hotbed and could acclimatize visitors to construe vague experiences as encounters with ghosts. Evidence against paranormal claims. Yet despite all these ghostly tales, there really is no concrete evidence supporting paranormal activity at the Winchester house. Many of the more popular legends surrounding the house do support historical inaccuracies. For example, it would appear there is no record of Sarah Winchester ever visiting the medium that supposedly instructed her to build continuously. Many of these strange happenings reported in the house can be ascribed to logical explanations. Settling foundations, expansion and contraction of materials, and draft cause old houses to make strange noises. In addition, some of these weird sounds reported by visitors might have emanated from the peculiar acoustics of the complex architecture of the house. Skeptical investigations into the property have, as yet, failed to deliver any real hard evidence of the claimed paranormal activity. Professional ghost hunters and paranormal researchers conducted numerous investigations with various types of equipment. None succeeded in yielding scientifically verifiable proof of ghostly presence. Very much so, the power of suggestion plays a huge role in visitors' experiences. People entering a location in which they expect to encounter something supernatural will interpret normal occurrences as paranormal. This psychological factor, along with the creepy atmosphere and strange design of the house, could explain many of the reported ghostly encounters. That was the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please give us a like and do not forget to subscribe for more content like this.